Have you ever wondered what are the main reasons new Amazon FBA sellers fail? Well, in today's video, we're going to be breaking down these two main reasons, diving deep, helping you avoid these stupid mistakes so you can make your Amazon FBA business a massive success. Let's get into it. What's up, champs? Welcome to today's video. My name is Trevor Peterson. I'm a full-time 7-figure Amazon seller. And in today's video, I'm excited to be breaking down the two main reasons that new Amazon sellers fail. The reason I'm excited is if I can help you grasp these two concepts and help you avoid these two things that I'm going to be breaking down, you're going to see massive success. And when people have massive success, I'm stoked. So I hope you guys take this video serious. I hope you stick around to the very end. And if you guys enjoy, if you guys like the video, if you learn something, then please subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment. Your guys' support means the world. So let's dive into the first and biggest reason that Amazon sellers fail, and it has to do with product research. Now that might sound super vague, but we're going to dive into, there's kind of two columns or two things that I'm looking at when it comes to product research. There's the analytical side. So you've probably heard it a million times, high, low competition, products with high demand, low competition. What does that mean? The mistakes that people make with that, we're going to be talking about. And then the second side is improving your product, differentiating your product. It's one thing to do one of them right, but it's another to get both of them right. And this is where new Amazon sellers just make massive mistakes. So what we're going to do is we're going to first talk about the analytical side of things of, is the product in high demand and low competition? I know you've heard it if you've watched any Amazon YouTube videos. So let's come over here inside my screen. And first and foremost, in order to understand the analytics and the data of high demand, low competition, you need to have software tools. And the tool that I use is called Helium 10. So if you guys don't have it, go down to the link down below, get 50% off for the first month. It's going to cost you $50, and you absolutely need this in order to break down the data. But it's another to know how to use it. So that's what I want to help you guys understand. So let's take this product, for example, a mirror centerpiece. Let's say I'm looking to sell this, and this is, I'm going to show you what the mistakes that people make. So they come over here to the Chrome extension and they look at this and they're like, oh, the search volume is super low. It's 380. Average reviews is above 200. Now that's not good. On to the next. And they literally just look at those two numbers, the search volume and the average reviews, and they're like, nope, next, on to the next product. And I hate to break it to you, there's a lot more to product research than just looking at the average reviews and their search volume. Now you've probably heard, hey, you've got to keep the average reviews under, let's say, 100 or under 500. The reality is that's not biblical. Like, that's not out of the Bible that you have to have average reviews of X. Now, there are guidelines that are going to help you because the lower the average reviews, the lower the competition is. But again, if you find a product that has 276 average reviews, that's not the end of the world. Now, the search volume, on the other hand, yeah, that's not a ton of search. But if we come right here and we look at the revenue is saying something completely different. We see that sellers are doing 44,000, 17,000, 10,000, 3,000. There's a lot of people selling a lot of volume, even though this particular keyword, mirror centerpieces, only has 380 search. So from experience, and this is what you guys need to learn, and this is what new Amazon sellers struggle with, is that triggers me into thinking, okay, there's other keywords. There's more opportunity than just looking again at the average reviews and the search volume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into a little bit more research. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on this particular product. And then I hit run keyword search into Cerebro. This is going to pull up all the keywords that this particular product is ranking for. And this is going to help us analyze, hey, does this product actually have opportunity? I want to come over here and I only want to see where this thing is organically ranked. So I'm going to come here to 1 to 20. I'm going to hit apply filters. I'm going to categorize it from largest to smallest. And there you go. You're going to see that there are other keywords that are being searched a lot more. 1,500 searches, 1,400, 1,000, 1,000. That's a decent amount of search for this particular product. And now if we come back, this product is only doing 3,600 a month. And it only has 37 reviews. And I went and I grabbed that specifically because it's a little bit lower competition. and I wanted to see what it's ranking for. But if we come right here on, let's say this product that's doing basically 45,000, or let's say this one that is doing 29. If I pull up Cerebro, hit run keyword search, we're gonna find another list of potential keywords. And this is where I'm gonna dive into even more data. So again, you can't just give up so quickly. And I see so many new Amazon sellers, they get into doing product research and they're only looking at 2 variables and that's it. And if it doesn't check off the box right from the get-go, then they just go on to the next. Even though in reality, they could be skipping over a great potential product opportunity. It's just they get so accustomed to average reviews too high, no search, next. Okay, so I want to kind of pull that out of your brain and get you guys thinking a little bit differently. So again, let's pull the organic rank, hit apply filters, do the search volume. And here we're gonna see a few different keywords. So like this one's small mirrors for craft. This one's wedding centerpieces, mirror plate. So again, we see more keywords and more opportunity. And so what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna come back to this one. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look at the keywords. So like this mirror centerpieces for tables, I'm going to search it on Amazon. So if we come over here, I search mirror centerpieces for tables, I pull up the Chrome extension, and again, people are gonna see the search volume and they're like, okay, that's decent search, that's good. There's some demand in it, but the average reviews is too high, so I'm gonna go on to the next. Now that is not necessarily the case because if we come over here and we can filter out certain products, so like right here, this flower glass vase is ranking for this centerpiece, mirror centerpiece, and it doesn't fit perfectly the keyword and it has 1,000 reviews. So I'm gonna remove that. And then right here, we see another one, and this is some table glass mirrored coasters. Again, it has almost 600 reviews. That doesn't necessarily fit this particular keyword. So I'm going to remove those. And if I remove those, you're gonna see that it drops it down, not a ton, but 280 reviews. Now that's something that I can work with. Okay, so 280 reviews, that's not crazy competition. Again, the lower the reviews, the less competition it's going to be. But again, let's say your criteria is 200 reviews. If it's a little bit over, it's not the end of the world. Now, if it was 500, if it was 1,000, if it was 2,000, that's where it gets a little too competitive for my liking. So again, that's one thing that I'm looking at is I'm going to filter out and remove the certain products that don't fit that particular keyword. And this is where new Amazon sellers don't quite grasp that concept. So remove the keywords that are not relevant, and that's going to drop the average reviews. Now, I'm not saying this is a home run killer product, but again, at first glance, most people would just brush over it and they wouldn't even give it an opportunity. So that is one thing that is super important, is diving into a little bit more data, understanding how to really look at the graphs, understanding how to look at the keywords. And if you can do that, that's going to help you tremendously. So that's kind of the first portion of product research, is everybody just wants to look at 2 things, average reviews and search volume, but there's a little bit more to it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into the second portion, and that is improving and differentiating. Now, this is probably more important than the data and the high demand and low competition. Now, you have to have a product that is being searched, that people are selling, because if you don't, then who's going to buy it? So that is super important. Obviously, you can't sell product that doesn't have demand, but I don't care how much product is in demand. If you can't come to market with something unique or different, then you're going to fail. And this is where a lot of new Amazon sellers just completely drop the ball and they fail. And that is, they come to market with something literally identical or exact to their competitors. So let me give you guys some examples. So again, let's take this product. Let's say, hey, I'm wanting to sell a mirror centerpiece. This is my product. This is the product that I'm looking to sell. And we see that the competition is 10-inch. They're providing a set of 12. And so somebody might think, oh, well, all I'm going to do is I'm going to sell a 10-inch round mirror and a set of 12, but instead of $35.99, I'm going to improve my product by dropping my price point to $30. Now, you might still be profitable, but at the end of the day, the customer is going to compare yours to this one that has more reviews, and they're going to be like, well, this one's more trustworthy, this one has more credibility, I'm going to buy this product. So that's a big thing that new Amazon sellers do, is they think that improving the product is just lowering the price. Now, obviously that's a key component. I mean, if you can add value to it and drop the price, well, that's a win-win. That's the best case scenario. But in this case, launching the same exact product just at a cheaper price, that's not really improving the product. The second thing that people think is they look at this product and they're like, oh, well, they don't have customized packaging. So I'm going to launch the same exact product, but I'm going to have customized packaging, and my packaging is going to look better than theirs. Now, I understand customized packaging is important and it can look cool, but at the end of the day, the customer isn't buying your product based off customized packaging. And so many new Amazon sellers think that adding customized packaging is a massive differentiator. Again, it can look cool and it can add value, perceived value. If anything, customized packaging, what it's going to do is it's going to lead to more positive reviews, because when the customer gets it, they're like, oh, this is cool packaging. But that's about it, in my opinion. So don't think that just improving the packaging or dropping the price is improving the product. The way that I would look at this product and improve it is, number one, read the reviews, see what you can figure out, what's wrong with it, how can you solve different problems. Maybe instead of a 10-inch, maybe a 12-inch, maybe they want it a little bit bigger, or maybe they want it a little bit smaller. You won't know until you go and read the reviews. So that's one thing that I'm looking at. Another thing, just kind of off the top of my head, all these mirrors are just straight mirrors. Like, they don't really have any borders around it. So maybe what you could do is you could find a centerpiece where instead of it just being a blank mirror, maybe you have a border around it in black or in gold or in silver, or maybe you have some variations of offering different types of mirrors with a border around it. So instead of just being a flat piece of mirror, you have a border, and it just adds something that's different and unique. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to differentiating. You've got to launch something that is not already existent on Amazon, and you've got to get creative. Okay, so not saying that that's the best way to differentiate it, but adding a border around it. Like if I was scrolling and all of these are just plain mirrors, if you had one with a border of maybe black or silver or gold, like that's going to catch a customer's attention. And if they like that, they're going to buy it because nobody is really selling it. This is kind of like the border that I'm talking about. This is obviously a wall mirror. This one's somewhat similar to what I'm thinking about, but this is a white border. So instead of doing white, I'm talking black or silver or something, and nobody is really doing that. So that's something that you could look at doing to improve and differentiate your product. And if you do that, well, the reviews and the price isn't as big of a factor. So when people only look at reviews and based for their competition, and they're like, oh, it's too many reviews, the average reviews is too much. My rule of thumb is, yes, the more reviews your competition has, the more you need to differentiate and improve your product. Because at the end of the day, if my product is different and it's not existent on Amazon, yes, if I don't have a ton of reviews, but my competitors, let's say, has 270, that's okay because mine is different. And the customer sees that. Now, I might not still sell from them every single time, but that is a huge key component to your Amazon success. So that is a massive, massive part to succeeding on Amazon is product research. Again, understanding how to look at the data, understanding how to break it down. Don't just skip over it too quick. And then the second part is improving, differentiating your product. So now let's dive into the second reason that people fail when it comes to selling on Amazon. And it has to do with taking shortcuts when it comes to launching your product. Okay, I've seen this time and time again with new Amazon sellers. They get all excited about their product. They found a good product. They found a good manufacturer. They ordered samples. They did the whole 9 yards, but there's 1 yard remaining, and they take shortcuts and they skimp out on the product launch. They spend all this time and effort and energy into creating the perfect product, but then when it gets to Amazon, they think that it's just going to magically sell and fly off the shelves. And if it doesn't, they're like, well, I failed. It's hard to see that because somebody puts so much time and effort, but then they get to the last few yards of the race and they just give up. They just throw in the towel. And it's like there's a little bit more that you have to do in order to succeed on Amazon. Yes, finding a good product, improving the product, like everything that we just talked about is super important. But if we don't market that product and do things properly, I don't care how good that product is, it just might not sell. So the second part to this is taking shortcuts on launch. And there's a few things that I want to talk about. So let's come over here, dive into my screen. And the first thing that I see people do is this kind of has to do a little bit with differentiating and improving your product. But mainly when it comes to like launching your product, they don't take time to optimize their listing and make it look good. And so what I mean by that is if we look at these different sellers, we see that they're selling these mirror candle plates or whatever you want to call them. You can tell like what images just look better than others. Like I look at this one and these just look like plain circles that I could just pull up on PowerPoint and it doesn't really look like anything. Where here you can tell that they're mirrors because they show a reflection inside the mirror. So that is kind of clever. On this one, it shows, hey, this is the size of the product and it's not just one, it comes with a pack. So it has a main focal point of 1, it shows the dimensions, it has the mirror on it, but it also shows that, hey, it's a multi-pack of 12. I think that that's pretty cool compared to like this one that's just like a flat, just round circles. If we come over here and look at this one in my opinion has so much room to improve. If we click on it, we'll see that this is kind of the main image and they literally just kind of stacked the mirrors on top of each other. And in my eyes, that just doesn't look as good as this one right here, or this one where it shows the main product or like this, and then it shows that they're in a multi-pack. So if it was me, and I see this all the time, people are like, hey, my product's not selling, I'm failing. And I look at things like this and it's because they took shortcuts on their images and they just don't look that good or they're not optimized. So let's break down this listing. And again, there's a lot more to launching a product than just a good, clean listing. But I see people make a lot of mistakes with their listing. So let's kind of break this down of why and how I would improve it. So first, the main image just isn't that great compared to my competition. And that's one thing that you guys need to ask yourselves and maybe get a second, third, fourth opinion of maybe somebody that you don't know or a family member and ask them like, hey, how does my image look compared to like your main seller, like the main competition? And if they don't say, oh, yours is amazing, then, or yours looks better, then you're doing something wrong. So again, right here, the main image could be improved. Right here, I think this is a big mistake. I'm not saying a lot of people make this mistake, but who uses millimeters? Like in the United States, we use inches. And so I don't know, like 70 millimeters, like what is that? That doesn't make sense to me. So you need to make sure that you know your audience and who you're speaking to. And I would definitely put this in inches. I wouldn't have that in millimeters. Maybe you could have both, but I wouldn't just put it in millimeters because now I'm pulling up my calculator and doing a conversion of what's 70 millimeters. And again, in the bullet points, it says 80 millimeters. And the width, like, I don't know what that is. Again, that's just my personal opinion, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me, but that's a big mistake. Right here, like, I get the concept of this, but it's not that great of an image. This one, like, they're going for lifestyle images, and it looks a little bit better, but I feel like they could improve it. Right here, it's showing them, like, applying the product. Again, they're, like, abbreviating, please tear off the protective film. Like, don't abbreviate, please. You probably don't need to do a please. Right here, this just looks like a photoshopped image that just looks horrible. So I think there's a lot of room for improvement on this particular listing. And I see a lot of Amazon sellers, they found a potential product. Like, let's say this just was an amazing opportunity, they're differentiated, but then they come and they launch the product and these images are just horrible. And they're like, oh, I'm not getting any clicks, I'm not getting any sales. And they wonder why. And that is the main reason. And it goes to show, like, the reviews and ratings are not that great. And so I'm not saying that the images have to do with that, but definitely you want to make sure your images are up to par and it looks clean, it looks professional, and it looks like these sellers that are obviously doing big numbers. So compare yourself to the competition. And if your listing does not look better, then that's where you need to go back to the drawing board. And this is where people fail because they take shortcuts and they skimp out on paying a professional photographer to do things the right way from the very beginning. Okay, so that's the first part of taking shortcuts on a product launch. They just don't spend the money on product images, yet they're into this product, let's say a couple $1,000s, but they're not willing to invest another couple hundred in professional product photography. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they just assume that, oh, this product is just going to sell a bunch on Amazon and I'm not going to have to do any advertising. I'm not going to have to market it. And that's just not the case. You're going to have to spend money to rank this product to the first page. And if we come over to Cerebro, it literally tells us how many units we have to sell in order to rank on that first page. And that's what this CPR number is. So if we do, it's over 8 days. So 26 divided by 8, around 4 units-ish, 3 to 4 units a day. If I sell 3 to 4 units a day, I can rank for this particular product. So that is my goal, is trying to sell 3 units on this particular keyword. So what I'm going to do is I'm either going to pay some influencers, I'm going to get people to buy my product, I'm going to run PPC and target these specific keywords, but I need to spend money to get people to buy that. And if I can sell around 3 a day, I have a chance of ranking to that to the first page. So if we come over here, I type in mirror centerpieces for table, you're going to see that there are people sponsoring their products, and a lot of new Amazon sellers will not spend money on PPC to advertise their product. And if you aren't willing to spend money, how is anybody going to know that your product exists? It's impossible. So you have to be willing to spend money on your product launch by getting people to purchase it. And yes, you might be in the red for a few days. Everybody stresses, oh, my ACoS is way too high. It's too much. I'm like, yes, I understand. But the only way to get that ACoS low is by getting reviews, by ranking, and the organic rank is going to outpace your PPC costs once it gets up and going. So that's a super important key component of why people fail, is they just take shortcuts and they're not willing to, number one, invest in their listing, their product description, their images, their title, their bullet points. They're not optimized. And then secondly, they're not even willing to spend money on launching the product. And I see this all the time. They found a good product, they improved the product, they even got good images, good listing, but they didn't spend the money to launch and rank the product. So it doesn't matter if you do all those 3 things and you don't do the last thing of paying and ranking your product, then that's why you're going to fail. So if you don't do those 4 things, I guarantee your product will fail on Amazon. Obviously, there's other things that are important to the process, but those are the 4 most important things. And obviously we broke it down into 2, product research and then product launch. Then there's different sectors inside of those. Please understand those things. And if you do, your Amazon FBA business will skyrocket and you'll see the success that you have always dreamed of. So I hope you guys learned something in today's video. If you guys did, again, like the video, subscribe, drop a comment. If you guys are looking for more guidance, more help, you don't want to make silly mistakes in the beginning, and you guys want a second look of eyes, I'd love to have you into my mentorship program. I'm accepting applications down below so you guys can apply, schedule a free one-on-one discovery session, and we'll see how we can best help you start your own Amazon FBA business. So I'll put the link down below. Just want to say thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.